Hey guys, it's Dan here from Ugly Mug Marketing. Today we have a very special guest, and that's Corey Patel. She is a elementary school teacher, teaches fifth grade in Okatee elementary school there in Bluffton, South Carolina. She is a very near and dear friend, and we're having a conversation the other night, and specifically about helping kids manage, or helping parents that are working from home manage the education with their kids. And she's going to give us some troubleshooting things that she's found with her students, and a couple of resources that she finds very, very helpful. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Corey. And Corey, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic.
You're fantastic.
I know. See, I told you, nobody ever says fantastic, but I try. So yeah, on that note, Corey, so what are some of the things, being an elementary school teacher now, that you've noticed that some parents are struggling with, in particular with their kids, and how can you, what are some things you have ideas for helping them?
I would say one of the biggest, so I roughly, I guess I have a little over 30 students. So trying to keep up with all 30 of those students and the parents, I know the saving grace of everything is just that communication, that one-on-one communication that I do have with the parents. And I do that through Blooms. It's a Blooms app, so usually it's like a teacher page that parents can join, sending emails, anything just to try to help them out. But I had some students really struggle the first week. So we've been in quarantine for a little over a month. So it's about a month and a half. And the first couple weeks for, I would say, both the educators and the students have been really rough, because I just think nobody really knew what to do, because this was all uncharted territory.
Yeah, very so.
So after a couple weeks, we were allowed to, so I have a team of, there's 6 of us, and through Zoom and even FaceTime, we've been able to kind of tweak schedules, kind of share parents' concerns, their comments, things that they feel that's going great, things that are not. And one of the main things that we've noticed is a lot of the kids that were having trouble are because their parents have not set a place, a set schedule for them.
Okay.
They just kind of, and it's totally understandable, because the first couple of weeks, you just didn't know what to expect. So they just kind of were like, I don't know, whenever the kid gets up, they'll look on, because we post a lot of our things on Google Classroom. So they're just like, oh, they'll get up, they'll do Google Classroom, and they'll take a break, and then they'll just go on to something else. But they don't have a specific schedule. So one thing that we've talked in depth with our parents about is creating a schedule, whether it is for instance, we have a daily Zoom schedule. So at 9 a.m. we Zoom with our students Monday through Friday. And we've talked with parents saying, okay, well, since they're already having to be up for the Zoom session, whether it's math, ELA, we do some content in there, reading, writing, and we'll just say, okay, Zoom from 9 roughly to about 10 o'clock, and then set the schedule for your students. Say, okay, since you just came fresh off of a lesson, I want you to do this work from 10, and depending on your child and their attention needs, or their physical needs, just say, okay, half hour from 10 to 10:30. You need to do your work, you can get 15-minute break, but just set a specific schedule, instead of just kind of leaving it up to them. Because as from an elementary standpoint, they're still learning. They're 5th grade, so they're getting a little bit more independent, but they're still learning how to take these notes, to be responsible, to have that self motivation. So I would say that's the biggest thing, is if you don't already, create a set schedule for your student.
Okay, so, and is there any particular type of schedule, if they always keep the same subject in each week, or each day rather, or if you find that to be more effective, or it sounds like what you're saying is after they're off with the teacher, don't consider that to be done for the day, actually get after that, versus trying to leave it for the next day?
Yes. So I know what we've been doing in our district is, or at least definitely in my school, is we have assignments that are posted daily. So I just teach math, science, and social studies. And every single day on my Google Classroom, I will post a small math assignment, and some either we'll kind of switch off weeks, either social studies or science. And then my teaching partner, she teaches ELA. Every day she has an assignment. Now, the assignments are not very long, and they're like easily doable within, I would say, besides the hour-long Zoom session, maybe another hour or so worth of work. But I would strongly suggest, what we do is Mondays and Wednesdays is all ELA. Now, they still have work for me for math on those days, but I don't Zoom with them.
Gotcha.
I Zoom with them on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
Gotcha.
And then even though they don't Zoom with their ELA teacher those days, they still have an assignment with them. But I would take it, whatever you have Zoom that day, start on that activity, because that way it's fresh in your mind.
Gotcha.
And if you do have questions, it could be something you can just write down, and then the next time you meet with me or your teacher, that that the kids can ask.
Okay.
I find it's been challenging, I think, for the kids to learn the responsibility, but also another tip is making sure, especially when you have a younger child, even middle school, and it could be like this in high school too, is hold your kids accountable. Don't just be like, okay, well, from 10 to 10:30 you do this work, and then just assume they do it. Make sure, double check their work, and make sure if they're understanding it. Ask them questions. Say, okay, what didn't you understand about this, or what do you think you need a little bit more help on? Because then that way the parent can contact the teacher. She can, or they can help if they're familiar with the subject. So I just think that is also another really important thing, is these kids are still learning to be independent, whether it's a kindergartner, a fifth grader, a seventh grader, 11th grader. They're still growing up. So you
Sure.
still need that parent, even though, yes, a lot of people are working from home, have that full-time job. Just check in with your kid and just kind of check over their work, just so they know and they feel comfortable too. Like they have that structure, and then they have that adult presence saying, okay, they care about me. They want, they're making sure I understand. And so those are the two biggest things that I think I've seen, that we've run into a problem, but then also have a really good solution fix for it.
Sure. Okay, great. So these are great tips and ideas to help make sure that your kid stays on track, your child stays on track, particularly so scheduling, and then follow up is making sure that the work is actually getting done. I've heard that some of the kids just kind of check things off and send it in. So it's making sure that they actually completed the work and did it. So one of the things that and I don't have I have a 9 or 8 month old, so school's not the balance for us, but certainly between my wife and I both working from home full time, it's been challenging the aspect, and some other folks that I've talked to that have kids at home that are starting to work, there may not be, and this is even some older kids, some of the subject matter not might be the easiest to teach, or they may just not have the time. Is there something, are there resources that they can use, that they can start and give their kids, that they can go ahead and say, all right, go ahead, do these lesson plans on this website or this service, and that'll be the equivalent of what your homework's going to be? Is there anything like resources, I guess, that you would find helpful or would recommend?
Honestly, the first thing is go straight to the source. I know for me, I find it easier, especially with Zoom lessons and in math. I pre-record myself doing mini lessons based on, our standards, and I put them so that way the kids can go back, and they have a familiar face, me. They know my lingo. They know my teaching style from, having them since before we had to leave. And I think that gives them a little bit of familiarity too, because they see me and not necessarily a stranger. So I would say the first thing is, if your child has something, or you're like, I'm really trying to help so-and-so with long division, but they're saying I'm doing it different, is just email that teacher. We are more than welcome to help. A lot of us are going crazy because we miss our kids. email your teacher and say, hey, can you just shoot out like a quick video to help us out with this? Another thing, if you can't necessarily do that and you have internet access or even from your phone, on YouTube, and I don't know if there's like a specific website for them, but it's called a Mathantics, so Mathantics.
Okay.
And it's this gentleman, and I've been using it, so I've taught 4th grade, 5th grade, and I do know there's a couple concepts that he goes through that are a little bit higher education for math, and I do know he goes a little bit more simpler, but it's an amazing resource.
Okay.
That, like I said, you can just find it on YouTube, and it's just this one guy, and he like they're the mini lessons. He just takes it apart. So if you need help with decimals, if you need help with place values, they even have. We actually just learned about the hierarchy of shapes, and he has lessons about that. So it's
cool.
really really good and helpful. Another thing, depending if your school district has it or not, I know Khan Academy, KAHN, they have a lot of good, useful tools. If your students, so our students are very fortunate to be able to take computers home with them that are supplied through a district. And so they have a lot of these resources available on their computer itself. But right now, even if, you have a child that's on a home computer or honestly even a phone, because I know a lot of times there are families without internet, even looking on the phone, like I said, you can access YouTube on your phone. And a lot of companies right now, because of this going on, is actually creating a free membership for, for a month or for a couple weeks, because they know right now it's been difficult, and parents need that resource, because we know that you didn't sign up to be a teacher, and we respect you guys so much for taking on, such a big role in most parents also while still working full time.
No, that's great. That's super helpful. I'm definitely, I've been on Con a couple times with some nephews and whatnot.
And they
that's
go like, I know Khan Academy is I would say more catered towards higher level thinking, so upper grades, but especially if you have that student that really it needs to be challenged and is just begging, because there are kids like that, like that just are begging for, like, okay, I'm bored, I need some more work, I'm not being challenged, and there's definitely lessons on there that will successfully challenge them.
Absolutely, and it's definitely taught us all a little bit more patience and understand, because everybody we're going through this the same all together. So, but I really do want to say thank you so much for what you do. You're definitely an inspiration, and certainly I think we've learned a lot more about the value of our teachers here. And as a parent, I want to say thank you very much. Corey, that has been great information. I really do appreciate your time. Is there anything else you'd like to just add in before we go?
No, just piggyback off of what you said. I just think right now, even though it's not a good time and it's a very, very stressful time for everyone, I think it really is showing and giving appreciation on both sides, like with the parents and like with the teachers, but then also the other way around too, with like us as teachers that are trying so hard to reach out to your student, and we unfortunately we can't, and you're taking and stepping in into that role. So parents are doing a great job too, and hopefully, with the teamwork and everything, and hopefully we'll get back to normal sooner rather than later, and hopefully cure our sanity.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Corey, and I really appreciate your time, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.